Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the person you've loved for 10 years shared your home, your dreams, your bed, never even existed. That everything about them was a carefully constructed lie. Their name, their family, their past all fake. This isn't a movie. This is my life. The truth hit me like a freight train, and it left me questioning everything, including who I really am. Here's how I discovered the terrifying truth about the love of my life, and how she destroyed me. We met when I was 24. She walked into my life on an ordinary Tuesday, and from the moment I saw her, I was hooked. Her name was Samantha. She had this way of looking at you like you were the only person in the world that mattered. We met at a coffee shop. She spilled her latte all over my laptop, and we laughed it off. But that was just the beginning. Samantha was perfect, or so it seemed. She was funny, kind, ambitious. She told me she'd grown up in a small town, worked hard to escape a toxic family, and now she was building her dream life in the city. I believed her. Every word. Over the years, we moved in together, got a dog, traveled the world. I helped her through job losses, supported her when her so-called father got sick, and even planned an elaborate proposal. For 10 years, we built a life that everyone envied. My friends would tell me how lucky I was, how rare it was to find someone like her. And I believed that too, but love makes you blind and deaf to the red flags. And looking back now, they were everywhere. The first thing that should have tipped me off was how little I actually knew about her family. She told me her parents were abusive and she'd cut ties with them years ago. Whenever holidays came around, she'd insist we stay in the city, no visits, no calls. She never introduced me to any childhood friends either. Every time I asked, she'd say something like, "They all turned their backs on me when I moved here. I don't need them anymore." Another strange thing, she was constantly changing jobs. Always some dramatic story about a toxic boss or jealous coworkers. At first I admired her resilience, but after the 5th or 6th job, I started to wonder why nothing ever lasted. She also kept secrets about little things. I once found a stack of unopened letters in her drawer, all from banks and collection agencies. When I asked about them, she laughed it off and said it was nothing to worry about. And then there were the nights she wouldn't come home. She'd claim she was working late or staying with a friend because she needed space. I brushed it all off, because I loved her. Because I thought I knew her, but I didn't. It all came crashing down one rainy Sunday. I was cleaning out the closet, looking for an old suitcase, when I came across a locked box. It wasn't the first time I'd seen it, but she'd always told me it contained sentimental things from her childhood and to respect her privacy. That day, something inside me snapped. I broke the lock. Inside were several passports, all with her face, but with different names. Birth certificates, fake IDs, credit cards I'd never seen. At first, I thought it was some kind of mistake. Maybe she was in witness protection, maybe she had some legitimate reason, but the more I dug, the more horrifying it became. The woman I knew as Samantha wasn't Samantha at all. She'd been using at least 3 different identities over the past 15 years. None of the addresses she'd given employers were real. None of her references checked out. I even called the hospital where she claimed her father had been treated. They had no record of him, or her, ever being patients there. When she came home that night, I confronted her. At first, she tried to laugh it off, said I was paranoid and crazy, but when I showed her the passports, her face went cold. She sat down, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "You weren't supposed to find out. That was it." No apology, no explanation. She packed a bag and walked out the door. I haven't seen her since. In the days that followed, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I replayed every memory, every conversation, over and over in my mind. Who was she? Was anything she said real? Did she ever love me? Friends tried to console me, said I dodged a bullet, but it didn't feel like that. I felt violated, like my whole life had been a lie. I questioned everything, my judgment, my worth, even my sanity. I started digging deeper, hiring a private investigator. The report that came back chilled me to the bone. She'd been married twice before, both under different names, and had defrauded both husbands, draining their bank accounts before disappearing. She was a professional con artist, and I was just her latest mark. The financial damage was bad, But the emotional scars were worse. In the weeks after she left, I discovered she'd maxed out my credit cards, taken thousands from our joint account, and even pawned some of my family heirlooms. The police opened an investigation, but they admitted chances of catching her were slim. People like her don't get caught. I had to move out of our apartment. It was too full of memories, and I couldn't afford it anymore. I lost weight. I lost friends who didn't know how to handle my grief. I even lost my job for a while because I couldn't focus. But slowly, painfully, I started to rebuild. I went to therapy. I reconnected with my family. I learned to trust myself again. And one day, I woke up and realized I was still standing. Looking back now, I see the red flags clearly. I see how my love blinded me to the truth. If I could give anyone advice, it would be this: don't ignore your gut. If someone refuses to share their past, if they lie about little things, if nothing in their story adds up, don't let love make you stupid. I also learned that no matter how bad it gets, you can rebuild. You're stronger than you think. She took 10 years of my life, but she didn't take me. If you've ever been betrayed like this, or fear you might be, share your story in the comments below. And if you found my story compelling, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose eyes you might open.